Good morning, everybody. How is everyone doing? I did get a mic check, but it's been a few seconds. So, can everyone hear me okay? I was in here chatting earlier this morning, but if I missed anybody, I apologize. Let's see who's coming in right now. Staff Grabber, good morning. I'm already seeing some new names. Hit the sub button. Make sure you get reminded. I did have a little bit of a StreamYard problem yesterday. I think I've got that solved. Note to self. You need to learn the programs that you use. This really wasn't a StreamYard problem. This was a user problem, which would be me. So anyway, got it all squared away. Hopefully for now, knock on wood. Hello, Mama B. I was just chatting with you in Discord. Insanely confused. Hello. Jinbud, Jonesy, good morning. Hello, Morgan, Melinda, Katie Bird, good morning. I saw Crafty, PJ Jones. My girl Jeannie, I talked to her first thing this morning. Icy Dive made it in. Got a secret? Can you keep it? No, I can't. I'm the worst. Hello, Judy. Hello, Miss Linda, Natasha, Teresa. Thank you, Jakey. You sound good too. So I've got the link pinned if anybody wants to come up and chat. I've been chatting with a lot of you this morning. It was actually fun to do the mic check. Not that it's not usually. So first off, I want to say thank you to those of you that were in the show yesterday about the 4 men in Oklahoma that were murdered. There had already been rumors and speculation about what was going on. It was wilder than we imagined. After I put the press conference up later. Seems we're going to have another wild day because I already had this show planned actually for yesterday. So when I had my StreamYard problem, this was after I did the press conference thing. I was trying to do something else anyway, that long story. Got it figured out. So live chat is a miracle with StreamYard. So I moved it to today. Well, I find out this morning, which has already just shot my nerves. This was on Twitter by Brett Buffington. There will be a significant update in the Quinton Simon case this morning. When we can share more, we will. My understanding is the press conference is going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern time, so we'll still be live because it'll be 10 a.m. Central. Hopefully, it's very easy to find this press conference and that they have all their microphones tuned up and plugged in and there's no buffering issues because you know how irritating that gets. But either way, we're all still here together. Now, my question is, before I get to our regularly scheduled program, what do you think this is about? Did we arrest Leilani? Did they find little baby Quinton? Maybe there's another suspect or maybe there's another arrest. I don't know. They don't really tie up the Wi-Fi in this case unless it's big, though. I will say that. Good morning, Mermaid. Good morning, Connie. Well, so we will definitely be on pins and needles looking for that. Of course, waiting for that. We have other things to go over. The weather is one. It is colder in Dallas, Texas this morning than it is in Boston, Mass. That is crazy. I heard that on the Today Show. Al Roker said it. Al Roker wouldn't lie to me. So it's colder in Dallas than it is in Boston. It's cold here too. I have thick socks on. I hate socks. I hate long pants. I'm just going to have to deal with it for a while. A few weeks ago, I was complaining about 100-degree temperatures, but now it's a little too early for this for some of us. Hang on, I got to open my door. So what is the temperature where you're at? I saw somebody in Alabama said it's cold. I know it's cold in Missouri. I know it's cold in Arkansas. Hang on. Mama B said it's going to be either they found him and arrested her or they've just arrested her. Yeah. Yeah, I would think if they found Quinton yesterday, they would have made the announcement yesterday, but they do it different in every case. They do it different in every case. Preschool Granny said 21 degrees here in Wisconsin. I did see on the news this morning, I apologize for bouncing all around. They were already showing a freeze and snow, I want to say in northern Indiana. Does that sound right? I know I saw something about, okay, Birdie said snow in northern Indiana. All right. Let me look at my community tab real quick. Then I'm going to bring Angel up. She's sitting backstage. We're going to catch up with her. She recently went back to work. We were sitting here catching up on that. All right. So yesterday, there was a hearing at DFACS. That is the CPS system for Georgia. And I put on the community tab a poll. Who do you think will show up to the hearing? Well, most people voted Billy. All right, so whoever voted for Billy, you won. Well, it seems like we all kind of won because a lot of people showed up. There was like 10 family members in the hearing room. I hear they said a couple of the fathers. I don't know. There's 3 fathers, so a couple of them called in via Zoom, I believe. One of the grandfathers, and it is not Leilani's father, drove 4 hours to be there. I'm actually encouraged by this. Now, Billy and Leilani being there, I could care less about because they should never be around those children again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Too much has gone on. There's no second chances, or in this case, 50th chance. There's no more. There is no more. I am very curious as to how this is going to go down with Zane's father. I wonder if Quinton's father has any sort of legal repercussion. You know, in the case of Harmony Montgomery, Crystal, who is not entitled to anything, has threatened a lawsuit because of the CPS failures with Harmony. She's not entitled to a dime, in my opinion. But I'm wondering about that with Quinton's father. A document, letter, shall we say, came out over the weekend talking about the removal of little Zane and little Sky. It mentioned untreated bipolar. It was clear as a bell that the children were not supposed to be left alone with Leilani. We have an article from the Sun we're going to look at. We have a lot to squeeze in until this press conference. So let's see what our friend Angel's doing, and we'll get to comments first. Good morning, Angel.
Good morning, Brooks. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning?
Well, I don't know where to start. I don't know if I'm coming or going. So we have the hearing yesterday, which the kids are still in foster care. The children are still in foster care. They are not with Leilani. They are not with Billy. They're not with Zane's dad. They're not with Danny. So they are in foster care. And from what I heard from this news clip, it's kind of standard procedure. I'm going to assume in pretty much every state that after a child is removed, 3 days later, there's a hearing. Why did Billy and Leilani even show up?
Well, maybe they had to.
Oh, well, now we follow the law?
Well, I would say they had a vested interest in what was going on with the kids, maybe, despite all of the dysfunction.
Yeah. I'm just really wondering. I figured Billy, I figured Billy for sure would show up because you're not
Right.
going to tell Billy how to run her household. She was going to be there with bells on. She's going to make a statement. She's going to stand by what I wouldn't say believes, but what she wants everyone else to believe, that she's been taking care of her kids. She's been taking care of her grandkids. She didn't do anything wrong. She blames Diana in a way more than Leilani.
Hmm.
So I figured she'd be there. She'd be there.
Hmm.
Leilani, that surprises the hell out of me
Yeah, that is surprising.
because
After every,
on no planet does she really believe that she had any chance to get her children back, nor does she want them. All right, we don't need the sound because she says nothing anyway. So there she is. Some people said she kind of looked like Jodi Arias coming out. I was like, this is very I have kind of a combination here of Megan Boswell and Casey Anthony. We've got our best ponytail rocking and we've got a face mask.
but look at how she's, her presentation is so different than what it normally is, if you know what I mean. Like she looks very, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. She looks kind of homely dressed down right there. Her
Mhm.
hair, the glasses, the clothes. That's not how she normally dresses. It doesn't appear.
No, no. No, she's not in man grabbing mode by any means. I like how the officers walk out with her and she jogs in front of them. She might
Yeah,
as well get to know them. She might as well say, hey, what's your name? You know my name, but what's your name? Because I have a feeling we're going to be running into each other a lot soon.
yeah, really.
I would have gotten the pleasantries out of the way.
Mhm.
So she jumps in the truck, I believe, with Billy. Fundeski said she was dressed to impress the courts. Excuse me. So I don't know for sure which of the dads called in. I'm just going to assume, since I haven't read anything anywhere that Danny was there present, that it was more than likely Zane's dad and Danny calling in. I don't know that Quinton's dad would or would need to. I don't know because Zane, even though, I mean, not Zane, because Quinton, even though he is what the hearing is about, I mean, that's what brought everyone to this hearing because the children would still be at Billy's house if it wasn't for Quinton's disappearance. I'm trying to find a way to phrase this so it doesn't sound so bad. It's all
Yeah.
bad. It's all bad. I just don't know if Quinton's father was one of the Zoom callers, though. I'm just going to assume it was Zane's father and Danny.
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, I could be wrong. I think both of those guys, I don't know, both of them have said, where did I see a picture? I saw a picture of Zane with his dad on the bed. Was that Zane and his dad on the bed? Talking about how upset he was that all this had happened. And I got the impression that he wanted to is he trying to get custody of his son?
Yes. So I'm going to assume he's one. I mean, we've got three to pick from. So I would think that he would be one that called in yesterday. Well, and I'm glad he did. I'm glad that he talked to another YouTuber, I believe. He talked to the son. Um, he's telling a lot of stuff about Leilani. It's kind of too little too late for some people. And this is what I said over the weekend. I said it in Discord many times. I think I said it in the Facebook group. I said, well, the hearing's Monday. So these dudes better put up or shut up. I understand that when things go south, the courts favor the mother. I don't know why it's that way, but it is. It is. That's just how it goes. So now's the time for them to stand up and say, look, I'm a good dude. Let me have my child. As far as I know, Zane and Sky are still in foster care. So these guys are going to have to make sure they have adequate housing, jobs, daycare. They're going to have to start some sort of reunification, where they're all set up for kids is what they're going to have to do. And I hope they do. Hang on. Fundaski said Bubba Moss might have been there. Well, they said there was 10 family members in the courtroom, and I can't figure out what 10 it would be. Billy?
No.
Leilani was there. She does not have a snowball's chance in Cuba of getting these children. What is the worst thing that's going to happen if she didn't show up to this hearing? What is she going to look bad? I mean, they can't, her and Billy cannot be that crazy.
I don't know. I feel like, blah, 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 I can't talk. I feel like Billy might think she's not in trouble for anything.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo. She's doubling down. She doesn't think she did anything wrong. Now, mind you, she put this out. I think this is the right one. Okay, this is when the police put on their Twitter that they have evidence that has led them to believe that Quinton is not alive. We saw the taped up stuff in the windows and, all of that stuff. We heard Leilani is the prime suspect. So that's on their Twitter. She reaches out. This is just a private message between her and someone else. And she said, he's in a landfill and my daughter done it. She has no memory of it. Now, I believe they're gearing up for an insanity defense. I really, really do. But Billy has backed away from this statement. There's no more my daughter done it. So what is going on here? They can't be that detached from reality that they believe they have any dog in this hunt anymore. The children are in foster care because Quinton is missing. Leilani is the prime suspect. Billy, who is the custodial guardian, legally, not some gentleman's agreement, like she's trying to make it sound. That's children in Leilani's care.
That is your mistake. Big mistake.
Huge.
And I'm afraid that, well, I don't know. This is just speculation, but I wonder if she's done that before.
Done what before?
Left the kids there with just Leilani.
Oh, hands down, 100 times, I bet.
And, maybe that's how she justifies it. Nothing would have happened, but she was really off.
I think the only difference in this last time, it'd be one thing for her to go to work and leave the kids, if
Right.
she's coming back home sometime during the day. I think the difference with this job in Illinois, she got Diana, is because she wouldn't be there within a few minutes to drive home and check on things possibly. But I'm pretty sure Leilani has been alone with the kids since the state got involved. I have a lot of problems, though. So, according to this document from DFACS, where they talk about taking Zane and Sky, putting them in foster care, they mention drug use by Leilani, that she has tested positive for cocaine is one thing. Even when she gave, this is a very hard document for me to read because it's very blurry and the way it prints out is even worse than it is on screen. Did she seriously test positive for cocaine at the hospital when she had Sky, or was this after?
I think it was at the hospital, the way I understood it.
And Sky is 4 months old. I'm very surprised Sky was allowed to leave the hospital.
Yeah,
They
that shouldn't have
with
happened.
with her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to wrap my mind around all this. This document also mentions that Billy is the legal. She's the one in charge. She has custody. Billy has told other people, her new friends, whether it be on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, or YouTube, that it was just kind of an agreement between her and Leilani. She calls it civil. No, it's not. No, it is not. This is from the state she had custody. She also was not supposed to leave the children alone with Leilani. Now, my question is she going to get in trouble? I wouldn't be surprised if the announcement today isn't that they're arresting Billy. It could be anything.
Well, Billy needs some consequences for this because look what happened. I mean, she is the one that signed the papers and promised to be responsible for the safety and well being of these kids. So that's her baby. What happened when she left the baby with her daughter? Look what happened. I mean, as a result of her decision, this baby is now gone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that may sound harsh, but she made the decision to leave the child there. She should have some type of consequence, in my opinion.
I think she should too. And just taking the grandkids from her is not enough of a consequence. That needed to be done. That's not punishment for Billy. Taking the kids is not to punish them, it's to save these children. They are in danger in that toxic environment. So let's look at the news clip that came out overnight about the hearing. That might fill in some gaps. Then I want to look at Billy's reaction when we first found out little Quinton was missing. Of course, we know it's much worse now. Then we're going to talk about the article from the father because it seems to me that this dysfunction, this toxicity, this drug use, this domestic violence, the fights, all of this stuff was well known. My question is, though, how well known was it to CPS? A lot of people have said, well, why did they allow Quinton and Zane? Because these are the children in question at the time. Now it's all three. And obviously we know Quinton they believe to be deceased. I don't know that CPS was under, that they knew Leilani was living in the house. There's been some other cases that have come out not near this bad, to where a grandparent has gotten in trouble for having their child in the house living with them, or letting their grandchild be with their child when they know they weren't supposed to. They get into trouble. It's not like life in prison or anything like that. But it could very well be that it was the understanding that they were telling them that Leilani was living in the trailer, or when they would come to make sure there's adequate food and running water and all that stuff, Leilani was upstairs hiding. I don't know. I would love to know, though. I would love to know. I really think Quinton's dad has a big card to play if it turns out that CPS knew Leilani was living in that house. Because there would be no way, it would be no way possible for her not to at any time be left alone with Quinton and Zane.
That's a good point. Maybe they didn't know that. That's a very good point. I mean, I would like to think that they didn't know that.
Yeah, because how can you arrange for her not to be alone with her own children when she's living in the house? If they knew that she was living there, then they have to be held accountable as well.
Yes. I hope they use this case as a example. I mean, I'm sorry, I do. I hope they use this case as an example so that other people, I don't know, I want other people to see what can happen when you do this. I hope they do.
Yeah. And I'm sure, I mean, like when Billy spoke to the news, I think she was being very genuine when she said, "You don't think these things are going to happen." That is true. Nobody thinks anything bad that happens to them would happen to them, could happen to them. I just have a very hard time believing that she was not warned, especially when I read those documents, which they're posted in Discord, they're in the Facebook group, they're really hard to read. When they removed the children, I believe it was on the 12th, and put them in the foster care system, it's pretty spelled out that she should have been under the understanding that Leilani was not to be taking care of the children. She lost custody for a good reason, and they spelled it out.
Yes, they do.
Untreated bipolar, drug use, testing positive for drugs when you're pregnant, when you know.
Yeah, that's bad.
C-Star, I believe you. CPS should have known where Leilani was living. Now, if Billy said she lives in the trailer down the street, or she found a new boyfriend and they're living over there, but when Leilani filed the eviction, I would think somebody would have alerted CPS, this woman's trying to evict 2 toddlers and a baby. You might want to go check on that house. Oh, you already have an open case? Oh, she has custody of Zane and Quinton? You might want to get over there and check on them. Seems it didn't work that way. Seems it didn't work that way.
It sure didn't. I don't even know if there was communication between the parties there you were discussing.
No. So when she went to the courthouse, which has nothing to do with CPS, and I'm not saying that a court clerk or someone at the courthouse would have put A and B together. I just wish somebody would have had their thinking cap on that day when Billy hand wrote this. Let me get my glasses. They're probably dirty. Yep, they're smudged up. Not looking to be compensated. Just want them to move. So she wants the civil court, which usually deals with compensatory things. Somebody like a small claims type of thing, but this was different. She wanted someone to get over there and teach Leilani a lesson. Get her out of the house. We know it would have never happened, but put the fear of God in her. Not looking to be compensated, just want them to move out as quick as possible. Leilani Simon is my daughter, 22 years old, with her boyfriend and 3 kids. They have damaged my property, and at this point, no one is living in peace. So she mentions daughter, boyfriend, 3 kids. Now, I mean, I guess unless you knew the family and knew there was already problems there, you wouldn't alert CPS. But man, it'd been nice if somebody would have gotten a little nosy and said, back in September, this woman's trying to evict her grandkids. I mean, I understand getting rid of the daughter and the boyfriend that probably won't quit playing Xbox and won't go to work and stuff, and they're all fighting around there. But come on, the kids, can someone go over there and check on them?
Yeah.
Hindsight's the worst. So we have 30 minutes until the news release. I'm really on pins and needles about this. I don't think I saw everyone's answer. What you think it's going to be? Do we think it's going to be they found Quinton, or an arrest is going to be made? I don't know. Let's see. Hang on. Let's put this on.
Thanks for joining us for the news at 5. I'm Dawn Baker.
And I'm Mike Seelan. The woman police say is the prime suspect in the death of her 20-month-old boy appeared in Chatham County Court today. It was about the custody of her other 2 children.
WTOC was the only news station in the hearing. Our Shay Schrader was in the courtroom.
The grandfather of one of Leilani Simon's other children drove 4 hours to be at today's hearing, saying it's incredibly important to him to support his grandchild. He says the safety of that grandchild is at the top of his mind, knowing that the child's mother is the suspect in the death of one of her other children. Leilani Simon arrived to the Chatham County Juvenile Courthouse today wearing a face mask and a dress and took a seat next to her lawyer. On the other side of the bench was her mother, Billy Howell, who had custody of Quinton before he disappeared and still has custody of Leilani's oldest child. The two sat with their lawyers between them and didn't have much interaction. There were roughly 10 other family members in the courtroom today. There were also a lot of police both in the courtroom and outside of it. WTOC was the only news outlet at today's hearing. We requested to have a camera in the courtroom, but that request was denied. Judge Thomas Cole said it was to protect the privacy and safety of the children involved. The courtroom was also sealed from the public, and we had to leave before the bulk of the hearing started. The people that were allowed to stay in the courtroom also weren't allowed to tell us anything regarding the case because they're under a gag order. To be clear, today's hearing wasn't a criminal matter. It was pertaining to the custody of Leilani Simon's other two children, Quinton's siblings. We do know that legally, hearings like today's have to happen 3 days after an emergency order to remove a child from a home or DFACS requesting a child be removed from a home. We did ask for any records pertaining to today's hearings, but were denied because the hearings were closed to the public. Leilani Simon is the only suspect in the disappearance and presumed death of Quinton Simon, though she hasn't been charged with anything. I did reach out to the Chatham County Police Department to see if they had any updates in the search for Quinton Simon, and they told me they didn't have anything to share. Reporting in Chatham County, Shay Schrader, WTOC News.
They have nothing to share till this morning in about 30 minutes. So what'd we get from that, Angel?
I don't know. I didn't get a lot of new information. I'm like you, though. I'm kind of wondering the grandfather, who that was. And I certainly wish he'd been more away. I mean, I'm not blaming him, but I'm just wondering if he was obviously from out of state since he drove 4 hours. But that makes me feel good that there was at least one person in the family worried about the well-being of the children. Unfortunately, he was not geographically around to see all of this, though.
Yeah. You know, and I hope that he gets more involved. I have a feeling he's going to stay up to date on it, because also there's always in these cases, hands down, we blame everybody. I'm not saying us or you guys, me. Sometimes everybody but the main culprit is blamed. Okay? Leilani is the negligent, abusive mother here. And one way or another, her mother has had a huge hand in it. In these cases, it is common. Somebody who really could help the children has been alienated from the children. There is always a grandpa, a dad, there's always someone, a great grandma, someone who says, I couldn't get a hold of him. She wouldn't let me see him. It is so common. And I have a feeling this gentleman that drove 4 hours and said, I'm extremely concerned, was left out of the loop on purpose. And there's nothing you can do about it. We can say all day long, who would get arrested for standing on their lawn saying, let me see my grandchildren. Sorry, that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's sad. I'm like you. I want to hear the news conference so bad, and I'm also dreading it.
Yeah, I am too. What did C-Star say? C-Star, how do you evict minors you have custody of? Billy can't make up her mind. The only thing that I can say to that, because my mind was blown when I saw the handwritten statement, when I heard the newscast a couple of weeks ago, and they were describing what they believe welled up to, what led up to this. The eviction was part of it. And they said, and the 3 children. When I did the show, I said, I don't think grandma was trying to evict the 3 kids. Well, boom. Over the weekend, there was another news clip, and it had her handwritten statement. The only thing that I can think of is the rinse and repeat toxic environment that they live in, they like, and they're used to. This was, I'll show you, Leilani, if you don't fold my laundry the way you're supposed to, if you don't, quit sleep until 1 p.m, or whatever was going on around there. And then probably by the time their pizza arrived that night, it was probably already forgotten about. It's just one argument after another. We heard them in the backyard fighting. 2 days after Zane disappeared, you hear Billy screaming her lungs out at Leilani for God and everyone to hear. And you hear Leilani fight back with her mother. My kid is gone. Leave me alone. My kid is gone. Leave me alone. Billy just kept arguing with her. Anybody else that would have heard that statement from their own child would have been crumpled up, bawling mess. What do you mean your kid is gone? Where is my grandchild? What do you mean? Billy just kept fighting with her. Leave me alone. My kid is gone. It was on the news. We heard it.
Yep.
She wonders why she's the prime suspect. No one's picking on you, Leilani. We heard it.
I guess she wanted sympathy instead.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Absolutely nuts. Has anybody heard for sure who's streaming the news update? I heard WSAV on their Twitter, so I've got it pulled up. And I believe the last press conference, it kept buffering, so we had to go to 11 Alive. Hello, UFC Frog. Good morning. Oh, Lisa. Lisa said, I highly suspect they fed off of one another's drama. Bingo. Bingo.
Yeah, that's just another day in the park for them.
Yes, UFC Frog, if you don't mind. Yeah. And even something as jaw-dropping for her daughter to say, God only knows how long they've been yelling at each other. My kid is gone, leave me alone. She said it as if do your own laundry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we just got a glimpse of what goes on around there every day. And I think you're right. She probably wrote those papers out, and then she was angry. She calmed down. And of course, we know there is a degree of enablement going on here. And it's kind of like the boundaries are kind of wishy-washy there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say anything about my daughter, but I can, kind of thing. I mean, when she was on that first news clip with her husband, and she was saying, and Billy was saying, I just don't really know. I mean, sometimes she makes good decisions. Sometimes she doesn't. I don't really know if I can trust her right now. I think that was genuine.
I do too.
But the rest of it, I'm not so sure about.
Let's listen to that real quick. I actually had that pulled up. I'm glad you brought that up. You're reading my mind, Angel.
We both left right then. I got here about 3 o'clock yesterday.
And I got here about 3:30 in the morning.
That's just it's been
crazy. I mean, we don't know nothing. Whether it's the answers we want to hear or answers we don't want to hear. We just want to know something. My concern is him. And that's all it is. I mean, we concerned with his well-being.
I know everybody worked really hard yesterday, but
And
I want them to keep working hard.
And we appreciate everything that everybody has done, all the people that's come out and searched for him and all that. And he's always smiling. He's a happy kid. I mean, you get some kids but he always had a big smile on his face, and he was always happy.
Let me ask you, why are you getting emotional?
Because he's not here. He's just a baby. And I want him home. He's just a baby. Leilani's my daughter. She's 22. She hasn't always done the right things. And sometimes she does really great, and sometimes she doesn't. And I don't know what to think right now.
I actually think Billy is being genuine there. She goes, I got in at 3:30 in the morning. He's like, I got in around 3. And this is genuine. I truly, do you guys think Billy is being genuine here, or do you think this is a show for the cameras? Because she's saying right there, I don't know what to think anymore. I don't think I can trust her. Sometimes she does good, sometimes she doesn't. That could be part of her bipolar condition that is untreated. I bet she is. I bet she is on top of the mountain. Happy, happy, happy woman. I bet she is a great daughter. I bet she is your best friend at times, Billy. And I have a feeling when she is low, 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 I bet it's hell on wheels. And I bet you are too, Billy.
Absolutely. If she had just but now after this statement, you said she started walking some stuff back.
Yeah, this was a couple of weeks ago, because tomorrow will be the 2 weeks since Quinton disappeared. So Billy has kind of always dangled the mental health carrot where it concerns her daughter. She did say, he's in the landfill and my daughter done it. Then she had told other people that the doors were left open and they don't know what other things have come out. The title of the show is Excuses, Excuses. There is no excuse. There is no excuse because Quinton is missing. The police say that they have evidence to believe he is deceased. I 100% believe them. Now, in the Summer Wells case and in this case, it was even mentioned in the Harmony Montgomery case that an accident possibly happened and it was covered up. I was telling Angel before the show, I don't know how I came across this, but it happened to be, it was in relation, actually it was not in relation to the Casey Anthony case. It was a trial excerpt where Dr. G, medical examiner, because old Jeff Ashcroft, the prosecutor, he pulled out all the stops, as we remember. He had her on the stand. She was being grilled very hard by Jose Baez. She'd had enough and she snapped at him. I wish I had the clip. She said, I have performed dozens, multiple, too many to count, autopsies on children that have had accidents, be it drowning or what have you. Never, ever have any of those children has 911 not been called. There have been crack, cocaine, addicted mothers that have called when an accident has happened at home. Well, he walked away. He didn't ask her any more questions. Nothing to say to that.
No, I'm speechless. You're right.
What do you say to that? There was no arguing with this woman. I have performed multiple dozens of autopsies on children that have had accidents at home. Never attached to that report did it say medical attention was not sought. 911 was never called. The child was found a year later because the mom was afraid of getting in trouble. Even crack cocaine addicted mothers have called.
So that was her way of saying, I am spot on foul play on this. This is not normal. This was not a normal death. This is not an accident, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she was saying. I love Dr. G, medical examiner. Y'all need to watch the old reruns. They're on YouTube under some channel. I can't remember, but then you can really see good how an autopsy is done.
Yeah, I'm just really, not happy that he had pushed her to her brink to where she was about to come out of that chair and strangle him. He was about to have an accident. She was so mad. I mean,
Yeah.
she was almost insulted by the question, and I think we all are too.
Yeah.
I've had it with, children going missing. And I understand that we want to have compassion and we don't want to lose our empathy because we don't want to walk around as shells of human beings. And these cases will make you like that. They will. That's why so many people don't care. Not because they're bad people. They just don't want to accept the reality that we walk amongst some very, very bad people. But in every case where there's a missing child, it starts, besides they could be in Mexico, you always hear, I bet there was an accident and they just didn't know what to do.
Yes.
I can't find any case anywhere where an accident was covered up. And I have been looking. There's got to be one because it's brought up in every case. We have to be
Right.
going off of something else. Has it ever happened?
Mm. Yeah, that's well, Leilani didn't call anybody until Diana got there. So I don't know how long she was waiting or if she was even going to call. So it kind of makes you wonder about that being an accident.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think there was any accident. No. And plus, Leilani is so dependent upon her mother. Her mother, what she would have called her mother about an accident before medical help. I really believe that.
Yeah. But maybe she was really messed up on drugs and didn't even realize it for a little bit, or just was afraid to call anybody. I don't know what she was thinking.
I think she was trying to buy some time.
Yeah.
And I think, basically everyone that knows her has said she is quite the compulsive liar. And I think she really thought this was going to be her final performance. I really think she thought this was going to be, they've believed me all these other times. Sure, they're going to believe that Quinton's dad picked him up at 5:30 in the morning. And that's the reason that Danny told Diana we didn't need her. Yet Danny doesn't know anything about the text. And he doesn't know anything about Quinton's dad picking him up. According to Danny, he saw him in his playpen. That makes me think that after Danny left, she did something to Quinton. I've always thought that something happened to Quinton before that 5:30 phone text. But if he says he saw him in that pack and play, either he saw a deceased Quinton or something happened after. What do you guys think? Do you think something had happened before 5:30 or after he saw him in the pack and play?
And when he says he saw him in the pack and play, he doesn't say, oh, he was standing up and bouncing around and doing just fine. It kind of makes you wonder, was he, appeared to be asleep, but wasn't? I don't know.
That's what I'm wondering myself. All right, so here is Zane with his father. This is in the U.S. Sun. This is not my picture. And they say a dad has expressed his deep concern about his son's safety and is questioning everything after his little boy's mom was named as the sole suspect in the presumed death of one of her other children. Now, if Danny was the last person to see little Quinton, how can she be the sole suspect? Obviously, the police know way more than we do and the Sun. Police said on Thursday that Leilani Simon is the primary suspect in 1-year-old Quinton's mysterious disappearance. All right, so there's Cody and Zane. Leilani with her kiss filter, little Quinton. Oh, that breaks my heart. Simon's ex-boyfriend, Cody, who co-parents their son, Zane. Now, I want to know about the co-parenting, and I'm not throwing any shade at Cody. I really want to know. I'm wondering what the co-parenting situation was. Did he have Zane on weekends, every other weekend? Was it a, if I need you, I'll call you type of thing? I wonder what was going on there. Does anybody know how often he was really seeing Zane? I hope it's a lot more now. Wharton, who dated Simon off and on since 2011, so do the math on that. She's 22. That's got to be a typo. Please tell me that's a typo.
Oh man, it could be, but what if it isn't?
I mean, it's the sun, so I've got to take everything with a grain of salt. I mean, 2000, she's 22.
Yeah. So at 11 years old, she started dating? No.
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 Said he hasn't slept since police publicly named her as the primary suspect in Quinton's October 5th disappearance. Now, it makes me wonder, why are the children in foster care? Danny, I understand, because he may not have been named a suspect, but they could still be investigating if Danny has any involvement. That I understand. Why was Zane not given directly to his father? People are saying she was 12 and he was 15. Billy, how can any of this be a surprise to you?
Jesus.
You name the red flag, Billy, and you've got it. It looks like the Olympic Park, only it's just red flags, Billy. He says, Zane needs to be with me. I want to make sure he's safe. I'm not sleeping. I'm at a point where he needs to be with me. He said, even now I'm questioning everything. Is he hurt? What is he doing? I don't want to get a call saying your son is hurt and going to the hospital. I'd be worried too. What has Zane seen? Has Zane been abused?
Well, he does say too in that article right there that he had seen some bruises before, doesn't he? And then, but he just, chummed that up to him being a rambunctious boy.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me wonder if there were not other signs besides that. Maybe there wasn't. I don't know.
I don't know, but this article really upset me.
Yeah.
I was actually happy to see the DFACS report come out that the kids were in foster care. This guy could be the best dad in the world. I don't know. I was just relieved to see that they are not with a family member. Nothing against Cody. For some reason, maybe he's not set up. Maybe he's in a studio apartment and doesn't have anything set up to take care of a child. Okay, fine. I was very happy when I saw that, and this is not a happy situation at all, but this article really is upsetting. He said, even now I'm questioning everything. Is he hurt? What is he doing? Wharton claimed when Simon was allegedly depressed and tried to overdose, he noticed bruises on Zane when he picked him up, but thought the marks were simply caused by him being rambunctious.
Wow. So these children, those very small children, have obviously or apparently or allegedly even seen Leilani try to harm herself while they are there in the house.
Say that again. It cut out a little bit.
I said, I wonder if these little children have seen her trying to harm herself then on more than one occasion, right there in front of those little children.
Probably, and the little kids don't know what's going on.
No, and that's horrible.
It's horrible.
That's a good way for Leilani to hold her mom hostage too, emotionally. If you don't back off of me, I'm just going to kill myself, and then you'll really be sorry. I have seen stuff like that so many times. They just hold that over somebody's head. Which to most of us wouldn't make sense, but this is not most of us.
No, and I've heard it. I think that happened. It happened with Cindy and Casey Anthony.
Yeah.
There was a similar relationship between Megan and Angela Boswell, but particularly Casey Anthony. She knew how to grind her mom's gears. Her mom had said on many occasions, I was always afraid she was going to hurt herself, but would never touch Kaylee.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the opposite. She likes herself more than she did her own daughter. He says, but I wasn't worried about Zane's safety until all this started going on. She was a good mother. I don't know what happened. During the interview, Wharton struggled to find the words to describe how he was feeling as he replayed every perceived oddity in a stream of consciousness that now he realizes might have been red flags. He said, for example, one past summer, he claimed Simon was overwhelmed, and when he picked up his son, and all he had was winter clothes. Hey, how cold does it get in Savannah, Georgia? I'm just wondering how many winter clothes he would have. Was this a deliberate thing? I can understand getting winter clothes mixed up possibly if you are in a state that has a lot of winter. How much winter time does Savannah really have? I mean, they're right, I don't know. Right now, I want custody. I need to hold my son. I need to see him with my own eyes and make sure he's safe. Well, I really hope he gets that. And I really hope that everybody in this situation reassesses everything they know is normal. Everything that they know is normal. I hope they do a complete 180. I don't see them just turning these kids over to anybody involved until certain measures take place, because this is insane.
Mm-hmm. Now everything's going to be done the right way. A little too late.
Beckby said Savannah gets sweater weather. So, I can't imagine. I don't know. I need to know more about that. I'm not saying he's lying. It just seems to me that this is something deliberate she did. Like, she would have to really look for warm clothes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wharton claims authorities told him to fly from New York to Georgia to take a DNA test to prove he's the father, hire a lawyer to get custody through the courts, and legitimize the father-son relationship. All right, so he's not in the same state. He admits to an off-and-on relationship, with Leilani. So he can't be a constant in his son's life. So since we have another state involved, we definitely have a problem. Let's see what UFC's thinking. Good morning, UFC. How you been doing?
I've been out of it for a couple of days. I've been busy, so I miss you guys, man. I really do. I was trying to get in here on the weekend. I seen you on Saturday, but there's a lot going on, so I'm trying to catch up on everything.
Well, that's good. We have about, let's see, less than a minute. I have it on Twitter. Let's see, WSAV, that's the link. Nestle Toll House chocolate chips. No, I love them, but don't get me wrong. So I'm just waiting. Any second now, we're supposed to have this update. Has anybody heard anything besides WSAV?
Yeah, let me check. I have every channel in the world so on my TV. So I'll check every Georgia news channel right now and see what's up.
Right there, they're talking about early voting beginning in Georgia. That's not going to do it. It's 10 a.m. now. Ugh.
I just turned on my. Let me see. I'm checking right now. Savannah. Let me see if I can find the local channel for Savannah on here, because I have every single local channel in the United States.
Okay, Conspiracy said sometime before noon. I haven't seen LE post about it. WTOC. WTOC. Their Twitter or their website?
All right, CBS Savannah has the prices right on.
Welcome to that magic realm between what you know and what you wonder. More power for your pursuit.
Oh, here it is. Breaking news. Breaking news on Savannah at CBS.
As with every
Breaking news.
we have taken in this case,
It's on the news right now.
was based on where the evidence led us. We have spent the last several days preparing and deploying extensive resources to support the search team and the investigators. And I would like to thank, for a moment, Chatham County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff John Wiltshire, Chatham County Emergency Management Agency, Savannah Police Department, Savannah Fire Department, Chatham Emergency Services, and many other agencies that have assisted in getting us prepared to begin our search of the landfill. We know that this is going to be a physically, mentally, and emotionally grueling task for our investigators and team. Yesterday, our team posted this picture of Quinton here on the wall of this operations center as a reminder of who we are searching for and why we continue to work so terribly hard. We want justice for Quinton, just like everybody else, and we want to find his remains so we can give him a proper resting place. Once again, we are indebted to the FBI for their unmatched expertise that they have provided to us since they arrived on scene, less than 3 hours after Quinton was reported missing. Now I'll turn it over to Senior Supervisory Resident Agent, Mr. Clark, who also has a few remarks.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning, everyone. My name is Will Clark. As the Chief said, I'm the Senior Supervisory Resident Agent of the Savannah and Brunswick offices of the FBI. Throughout our process here, our goal has been to bring Quinton home and to hold anyone responsible for his disappearance accountable. We, along with our law enforcement partners, go into this process with heavy hearts. We did not want to end up at this point, but the evidence has taken us here. We are not just randomly searching this landfill. We have evidence, specific evidence that leads us to this large property. To help in this search, the FBI has brought in specialists from Quantico, Atlanta, as well as all of our personnel here in the greater Savannah area. The FBI's evidence response team, which has experience in landfill searches like this, is heading up part of this operation. At this moment, we have dozens of FBI personnel on scene in support of the Chatham County Police Department. We will have Chatham County and FBI personnel in the landfill each day, conducting a systematic search of the debris. This will be a complex and strenuous effort. Searchers will move through the debris placed on the search deck looking for evidence. Once that debris is cleared, it will be placed on the search deck and then removed and then replaced with another section of material. This will not be quick, it will not be easy, and the outcome is uncertain. As the Chief said, we want justice for Quinton, and we want to find him a proper resting place. Again, we share the sorrow felt by millions and promise all of our available resources and expertise to assist Chatham County in finding little Quinton.
Thank you, Will. Now we'll take a few questions if you'd like.
What makes you think that Quinton is in this landfill?
The evidence has led us to this place at this date and time.
Is there anything specific you can tell us?
Nothing I can tell you specifically.
Chief, what day do you think you would come to this landfill? Is this something you knew last Thursday, last Wednesday, last Tuesday, or yesterday, or this morning?
Agent Clark's going to answer any questions about the landfill.
Okay. We've been reviewing the evidence throughout the duration of this investigation. We've been following the evidence where it has taken us, and the evidence has taken us to this landfill. The efforts to undertake this landfill search have been several days in the planning. We brought in experts in landfill searches to guide us to the specific area where we'll be searching. Like I said in my comments before, this is not We're not searching the whole landfill. We have a specific area where we are looking.
And Agent Clark gave these landfill search, and I know the recovery of the evidence team has done this before. This is an area that you've now gridded off. There's no more trash coming there. It is away from anything new that would be coming in.
Yes.
And is that because of where this trash specifically came from?
Yes.
And then for the chief, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You know, we talked to you at 2:30 the Wednesday that he went missing, and you were so hopeful in this. And your tone has changed. You almost sounded like you were about to choke up there. You must be emotionally drained. It's investigators, it's agents. Just can you talk about how hard this case has been?
Yeah, you're trying to get me to cry, I think. But it has. You know, we had a meeting yesterday, and to look across the multitude of people that are here and to feel and see their emotions, and but that's coupled with determination and dedication so we can find little Quinton and provide him a proper resting place. It does take its toll. There's a lot of time, energy, and effort that goes into not only the investigation, but the logistics in terms of getting everything we need to be able to provide the proper resources for the search teams and the investigators so we can reach a conclusion at some point. There's a large order of magnitude that has been brought to bear here for this. And I'll say it again, I can't thank the FBI enough for all that they have done. They have been tremendous and phenomenal.
And you know, this is obviously is a criminal investigation now. It was a missing person, and there's no way that it's not, right? No one's been charged?
No one has been charged.
Why has no one been charged?
Because we're not ready to charge anyone yet. We still have work to do. We still have an investigation to do, and we are not going to do anything preemptively that would harm future prosecution, where I'm standing before you 6 months from now talking about a flawed investigation or talking about why we did this and why we didn't do that. I believe in our investigators. I believe in the expertise that we brought to bear here. We are tracking in the right direction, but we're only going to do that when we're ready to do that.
Chief, is that because you're holding out to make this a capital punishment case?
No.
Chief, is this landfill the only place that y'all are going to be searching?
Yes.
You mentioned, of course, that this is going to be a large scale, really strenuous operation. Do you guys maybe have a big idea of how long you think it'll take, or is that just kind of up to what happens out there?
It's kind of up to what happens, but as Agent Clark said, this is not going to be quick. This is not going to happen within a day or so. We are here for the long haul until we determine that we don't need to be here anymore.
Chief, let's back up a little bit in this investigation. One thing that never happened was there was never an Amber Alert sent out. There was never Levi's call sent out. Why was that?
It didn't meet the criteria of an Amber Alert at that time.
Why so?
I'd have to go back and look at the exact criteria, but we didn't have any specific information about an abduction. We didn't have a suspect for an abduction. We didn't have a vehicle description or anything like that. And Amber Alerts are very prescriptive in terms of when you can issue them, and we didn't have that information at that time.
Chief, how tough is it to stand here right now and know the only outcome of this is someone threw that little baby in the trash?
It's tough, but you know, we understand that, you know, it's necessary. This is the work that we do, you know, albeit emotionally draining, albeit tough, albeit difficult. But this is what the community asks of our law enforcement officers.
I want to clarify something, Chief. It was asking a question earlier. Do y'all believe that Quinton was brought here and thrown in the landfill, or thrown in the trash and then ended up in the landfill?
We believe that he was placed in a specific dumpster at a specific location, and it was brought here by regular means of disposal.
Is that dumpster at a gas station?
I can't answer that.
Is Leilani Simon still the only suspect?
She is.
You mentioned the other day you didn't believe she was a flight risk. Has that changed?
That has not changed.
How hopeful are you that you'll find Quinton's body?
I have every belief that we will find his remains here at the landfill.
Do y'all know where Leilani is today? I don't mean right at this actual moment, but do y'all know where she is?
I believe she's still here in Chatham County. We do not believe she's a flight risk.
And again, I'll ask one more time, what makes you believe that she's not a flight risk?
I can't get into that. Okay, thank you. Y'all have a great day.
So the press conference, the update is just that they're going to search in the landfill where they believe he's been this whole time. I mean, I get what they're saying. You don't just go walking around the landfill hoping to come across him. You have to be a little more strategic than that, because these landfills, they have trash running into these big holes in the earth 24/7. This one has daily compaction. So they're bringing in experts from Quantico, Virginia. This is so grim. This is so grim.
Yes, it is. And I also sounded like he was saying we've got the landfill narrowed down to a certain section that we're wanting to check. And they must be really confident, because I feel like he was saying, I'm really confident. I'm 100% confident that we will find him there.
Oh, God. Because I know they were there a few days after he went missing. They had dogs out there last week. I don't remember what day it was. I mean, if they have daily compaction, I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about it. You know, he doesn't want to answer anything about Leilani. I guess I can understand why. I do 100% agree with him when he's like, I don't want to be here in 6 months and everybody asking me why this investigation failed, why it was flawed, you know, basically, why is she walking free? I mean, I get that part. Hello, Angel, I lost you.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It's cloudy today, so I guess that's affecting my Wi-Fi.
Some people don't think he acted very confident, but I heard him at the end, and he seemed very like they're pretty sure they know where he is. How big is this landfill? From what I was told over the weekend, it doesn't just service Savannah, it services Tybee Island and many, many other communities. And like there's like, what are the belts called that go out into it, that just have trash going into it all the time? Like they have multiple trucks that come in throughout the day.
On those conveyor belts?
Conveyor belt, yeah.
Yeah.
Did he say this is not a capital case? Are we already going down the insanity or accident thing? Because he couldn't possibly know that without an autopsy on Quinton. And if she has confessed to anything, she would be in jail. If she has signed a confession, she would be in jail. We know she's not in a mental hospital. She walked out of a courtroom yesterday and jumped in her mom's truck.
How can she just be sitting there every day, every minute of every day, knowing that her baby's in a landfill? Good God.
We've got to have a press conference again. It's got, let me see if it's been posted on YouTube yet. Go ahead. Sorry, UFC, I lost you.
Oh, it's all good. I think it's crazy. I think it's automatically a capital case just because she hid the baby after she murdered him. You know what I'm saying? To me, the argument of postpartum depression is out the door when you hide the baby after you murder him. You know what I'm saying? That to me is you know what you're doing when you're hiding somebody. You know what I'm saying? You knew you did something wrong.
You'd think.
Right then, it's if you accidentally kill the baby by shaking a call and then we're all upset and have an emotional breakdown, that's one thing. But then to hide the baby after, it's to me it's dumbfounding that you think that wouldn't lead to a capital case, and she's not in jail yet. She already admitted to it, but I understand you don't want to hinder it, because if you charge her with murder and then she goes to the court and they say you don't have enough right now to charge her with the murder, then they'd have to release her anyways. You know what I'm saying? I understand that, but still, you can get her child neglect right now and just hold her and make her bail out. I don't understand.
Well, I did hear one thing that sounded really good, and that was Quantico.
Yeah, Quantico's coming, or they're there. All right, I'm going to pull this up again. I have to hear this again. Sorry, guys.
Let's do it.
I'm missing something.
We know that this is going to be a physically, mentally, and emotionally grueling task for our investigators and team. Yesterday, our team posted this picture of Quinton here on the wall of this operations center as a reminder of who we are searching for and why we continue to work so terribly hard. We want justice for Quinton, just like everybody else, and we want to find his remains so we can give him a proper resting place. Once again, we are indebted to the FBI for their unmatched expertise that they have provided to us since they arrived on scene. Less than 3 hours after Quinton was reported missing. Now I'll turn it over to Senior Supervisory Resident Agent, Mr. Clark, who also has a few remarks.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning, everyone. My name is Will Clark. As the Chief said, I'm the Senior Supervisory Resident Agent of the Savannah and Brunswick offices of the FBI. Throughout our process here, our goal has been to bring Quinton home and to hold anyone responsible for his disappearance accountable. We, along with our law enforcement partners, go into this process with heavy hearts. We did not want to end up at this point, but the evidence has taken us here. We are not just randomly searching this landfill. We have evidence, specific evidence that leads us to this large property. To help in this search, the FBI has brought in specialists from Quantico, Atlanta.
Arrived on scene. Less than 3 hours after Quinton was reported missing. Now I'll turn it over to Senior Supervisory Resident Agent, Mr. Clark, who also has a few remarks.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning, everyone. My name is Will Clark. As the Chief said, I'm the Senior Supervisory Resident Agent of the Savannah and Brunswick offices of the FBI. Throughout our process here, our goal has been to bring Quinton home and to hold anyone responsible for his disappearance accountable. We, along with our law enforcement partners, go into this process with heavy hearts. We did not want to end up at this point, but the evidence has taken us here. We are not just randomly searching this landfill. We have evidence, specific evidence that leads us to this large property. To help in this search, the FBI has brought in specialists from...
Okay, so I missed that the first time. We're not just randomly walking around the landfill. I know that in missing persons cases, we always say, have they checked the landfill? It's a much, much bigger task because they are so big. And like I said, this one has daily compaction. They have trash. I hate to keep using that damn word. They have trash that is deposited, lots of it, multiple times a day, all day, every day. So he's saying, we're not just out there walking around, you know, opening up every trash bag because there's millions of them. So they have it specified where they're at. But then the chief said this is going to take many, many days. How many people is it going to take to go through heaps and heaps of trash? God. And this guy was at the second press conference, I think. Because the FBI came in on the Sunday after he went missing. So the press conference on that Monday, so last week, I don't exactly remember the date. And he only spoke for a little bit, but it was a few days into the week is when they reported that in the house they had found evidence that led them to the conclusion that Quinton was not alive. I'm just wondering if it's something on her cell phone and if it's true about this dumpster by this convenience store. Let me see. I'm about to lose my mind.
Quantico, Atlanta, as well as all of our personnel here in the greater Savannah area. The FBI's evidence response team, which has experience in landfill searches like this, is heading up part of this operation. At this moment, we have dozens of FBI personnel on scene in support of the Chatham County Police Department. We will have Chatham County and FBI personnel in the landfill each day, conducting a systematic search of the debris. This will be a complex and strenuous effort. Searchers will move through the debris placed on the search deck looking for evidence. Once that debris is cleared, it will be placed on the search deck and then removed and then replaced with another section of material.
Okay, so I'm trying to picture it. They pretty much know the area where he would have been dumped. One of you, I don't think you're in here, I haven't seen the name yet, was explaining because her husband works for Waste Management, not in Savannah, but Waste Management's a huge company, it's nationwide. All trucks are logged where they pick up and they're assigned where to dump at their landfill. So I'm just assuming that they have found the truck, where it picked up, maybe from a cell ping. They know what area that day that truck dumped. This is making me so sick, I'm about to vomit. I'm about to freaking vomit. So now I'm trying to picture what he's saying because I'm not there and nobody asked me to help. He's saying they're getting set up and they're going to put a table out with, yes, trash, and they're going to go through every bit of it looking for Quinton. Then when they've cleared that, then they go to the next and the next and the next until they find Quinton. This is so sick. This is so disgusting. This is why they don't ask me to help.
This will not be quick. It will not be easy, and the outcome is uncertain. As the chief said, we want justice for Quinton, and we want to find him a proper resting place. Again, we share the sorrow felt by millions and promise all of our available resources and expertise to assist Chatham County in finding little Quinton.
Thank you, Will. Now we'll take a few questions if you'd like.
What makes you think that Quinton is in this landfill?
The evidence has led us to this place at this date and time.
Or anything specific you can tell us?
Nothing I can tell you specifically.
Chief, what day do you think you would come to this landfill? Is this something you do last Thursday, last Wednesday, last Tuesday, or yesterday, or this morning?
Agent Clark's going to answer any questions about the landfill.
We've been reviewing the evidence throughout the duration of this investigation. We've been following the evidence where it has taken us, and the evidence has taken us to this landfill. The efforts to undertake this landfill search have been several days in the planning. We brought in experts in landfill searches to guide us to the specific area where we'll be searching. Like I said in my comments before, this is not, we're not searching the whole landfill. We have a specific area where we are looking.
And Agent Clark, in these landfill searches, I know the recovery evidence team has done this before. This is an area that you've now gridded off. There's no more trash coming there. It is away from anything new that would be coming in.
Yes.
And is that because of where this trash?
Okay, they keep saying trash, 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 trash. If I heard him correctly, because the reporters never turn their mics up where they need to be when they ask a question, and I want to hear the question, not just the answer. Gets a little old having to fill in the gaps. So they've stopped the trash coming into a certain area. Let's hear that again, because it's going to be hard to find Quinton when, and I'm not trying to be callous or crass, they keep dumping more trash on top of him. They had to find the area and stop the trash coming in. Did I say that nice enough? I don't know another way. This is crazy. This is so disgusting.
Guide us to the specific area where we'll be searching. Like I said in my comments before, this is not, we're not searching the whole landfill. We have a specific area where we are looking.
And Agent Clark, in these landfill searches, I know the recovery evidence team has done this before. This is an area that you've now gridded off. There's no more trash coming there. It is away from anything new that would be coming in.
Yes.
And is that because of where this trash specifically came from?
Yes.
All right, so they've pinpointed the area where she put Quinton. From what he's saying, he didn't say it the way I'm saying. They've shut down that area in the landfill so no more trash can be dumped in on top of him, and they're going to start going through it. I mean, I guess they could have been looking through trash for 2 weeks, but if they don't know where he's at in this landfill, it doesn't do any good. This is insane. I put Nost Pote's comment on here because that sums it up. They know what pile to look in now. They know what pile of trash to sift through now to find little Quinton. I'm about to bawl my face off. This is insane.
And then for the chief, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You know, we talked to you 2:30 the Wednesday that he went missing, and you were so hopeful in this. And your tone has changed. You almost sound like you're about to choke up there. You must be emotionally drained. You're investigators and agents. Just can you talk about how hard this case has been?
Yeah, you're trying to get me to cry, I think. But it has. You know, we had a meeting yesterday, and to look across the multitude of people that are here and to feel and see their emotions, and but that's coupled with determination and dedication so we can find little Quinton and provide him a proper resting place. It does take its toll. There's a lot of time, energy, and effort that goes into not only the investigation, but the logistics in terms of getting everything we need to be able to provide the proper resources for the search teams and the investigators so we can reach a conclusion at some point. There's a large order of magnitude that has been brought to bear here for this. And I'll say it again, I can't thank the FBI enough for all that they have done. They have been tremendous and phenomenal.
And you know, this is obviously is a criminal investigation now. It was a missing person, and there's no way that it's not, right? No one's been charged?
No one has been charged.
Why has no one been charged?
Because we're not ready to charge anyone yet. We still have work to do. We still have an investigation to do, and we are not going to do anything preemptively that would harm future prosecution, where I'm standing before you 6 months from now talking about a flawed investigation or talking about why we did this and why we didn't do that. I believe in our investigators. I believe in the expertise that we brought to bear here. We are tracking in the right direction, but we're only going to do that when we're ready to do that.
Chief, is that because you're holding out to make this a capital punishment case?
No.
Oh, I see. He said, is it because you're holding out to make this a capital punishment case, meaning the death penalty? He said no, meaning I'm not holding anything back to stack it against her. I like how this is just me, we can agree to disagree. I like how he addressed that with them when he said, because I don't want to be here in 6 months, or be in, the prosecutor, the DA be in front of a jury in 2 years when they say, but at first you charged her with murder 1. You didn't even have the body. Dude, do you even know what you're doing? Plus if they have Quinton, I guarantee they are trying to play some sort of accident, insanity. There's a lot of talk going on. What are they going to do when they get little Quinton and they say, there's no way he could have drowned? There's no way he could have drowned. What are they going to do? So I'm glad he said that and said, look, this is not for your entertainment. I don't want to be here in 6 months and say, we messed up.
Chief, is this landfill the only place that y'all are going to be searching?
Yes.
Okay.
You mentioned.
Okay. Yes. Yes. He said yes. They know he's there. How sick is that? Sarah, how much trash was put on top of where they believe he is before they pinpointed the area they believe he is in? I'm going to take a guess and say about 2 weeks. Tomorrow is 2 weeks since Quinton went missing. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Christina, do the garbage trucks have cameras on them? I don't know. I don't know. Just the thought is just so disgusting. I have no words. I have no words. I'm glad he told him. I don't want to be here in 6 months and say we had a flawed investigation. The dude looks so mad. Well, Helen, I see what you're saying. They don't need a body. They don't need a body. They can build a circumstantial case. What I think what they're saying is they want little Quinton to have a final resting place. They have a good idea where he's at in the landfill. They want to go get him, lay him to rest, and know exactly what happened to him. I kind of like that plan as opposed to leaving Quinton in the landfill and building a circumstantial case. A couple of you grabbed the link. You're backstage, and I didn't put you up yet because I was finishing that clip. I apologize. Sonia, there's no words. There's no words. Roxanne, but they took 3 days off. I don't think they had all the evidence together.
Yeah, I was gonna say crime on that 3 days off comment. Maybe they were searching and for a week or 5 days couldn't find them and wanted to pinpoint and make sure they were exactly in that location. That could be so they weren't wasting any more time because that time is valuable. That body, if it decomposes anymore or an animal gets a hold of it, they're not going to be able to tell the cause of death.
Well, it's not going to do any good to be looking in the wrong place.
Yep, exactly. And all that manpower, they should take Billy Joe's house and put it on the market for all the manpower they're using for this case.
It's
ridiculous.
Awful. Disgusting.
How much tax dollars and stuff that could have been saved, It's just she didn't care. She had no love in her heart for that baby when she threw him in that garbage.
No, and get ready because the Sun already put it out. Not that they are a reputable newspaper or anything. They already put it out. DFAX put a document out that we all read. If you can read it, it's pretty blurry. The copy I have anyway. I mean, I made the best of it, where they're talking about untreated bipolar. It's been mentioned heavily. That little Sky is only 4 months old. Leilani is postpartum. Her mom already said he's in the landfill. My daughter done it, but she doesn't remember. And you know what? Insanity defense very, 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 very rarely works. And when it does, it's still no walk in the park.
If she was untreated bipolar, she had all this wrong with her, then Billy Joe should go to jail for murder. For she knows her daughter. She's lived with her whole life. She knows she has untreated bipolar, and she let the kids stay with him. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go that route, then Billy Joe should take the heat. And then her daughter can do whatever, whatever she gets off with on the insanity kind. But if they want to go that route, then Billy Joe left the kid with her, knowing that her daughter was unfit to watch the kid. There it goes out right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's plain and simple. It's clear as day. So that's why I don't get they can use that route, because then everybody's getting charged. The baby's dad, they all knew this was going to be a problem, and they all turned their back to it, and they all kept drinking and partying, and this is what this was the outcome. And if you guys want to play, you got to play with fire, you get burnt.
Oh my God, you're exactly right. They all know Leilani is not a fit mother, but hell, they're keeping an eye on her, so whatever. The kids aren't in their hair, right? It's cute for Facebook pictures. We have safety gates. You can tell they have plenty of toys. You can tell they love splashing in the water. Looks great on Facebook. That's not what goes on when they turn the cell phone off and put it on the charger, correct? But they go on with their drinking and their partying, and here we are. I'm sure she'll be fine with the kids. I've got to go out of town to work. Diana, watch them 24/7. Well, let her have a chance. At least let her have them overnight. Plus, it saves Billy money, correct? Because she's no longer paying for a 24/7 babysitter. All right? And now here we are. Something made her snap. And there's no excuse for it. There's none. But there's going to be excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. And it's all going to go back to little Leilani's noggin. She's not fit in the brain, and it's going to make me so mad.
Well, she was with it enough to tell the sitter not to come.
That too. That's another point. And that she was with it enough the other day to wear a mask out so the cameras couldn't get a picture of her face too. If you were that gone and you were going through that much stuff, I wouldn't think you'd remember to put a mask on to hide your face.
Yeah, that hurt. Them telling the sitter not to come to me is showing that, she knew something. And I hope they can use that against her because she did do that.
They need to get that boyfriend back in town too, because if he left at 6 a.m, this timeline don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe he doesn't know what happened to that baby, because they obviously took time to get rid of the baby, dump the baby, hide the baby. Obviously, they had plenty of time to come up with a story. So that 3-hour timeline pretty much makes sense that they covered up for the cover up. You know, it doesn't make sense that he has no clue what's going on. He's in Atlanta chilling.
Mm-hmm. I also find it really odd that she was such a frequent social media poster. Her TikTok, she loved to shake her ass for the TikTok. She has all kinds of stuff, I'm pretty but psycho, he on her Facebook, but not a word when her son gets put in the waste management landfill. Didn't even try to act like he was missing. Not a word. She knows what she did.
That's the point right there, Crime. You're 100% right. She changed her whole demeanor when the kid went missing. So you can't tell me that she didn't know what she was doing. Everything, her whole demeanor changed. She didn't post no more. There was no more comments. She wasn't looking out in the public. She wasn't going to the news stations. Because if she really didn't know she killed the baby, she'd be out there saying he's missing, help me, help me, help me, and not hiding in the house with a mask on so no one could see her.
Mm-hmm.
And with Billy Joe and her fighting all day. That's just, I mean, everything is pointing at it, and like someone said in the comments, I don't want to get into politics, but yeah, I believe that if it's on that side of the spectrum, they'd give it to her. But I don't think on this case they will. 100%. I don't want us to talk about left and right in here because that's not what we're talking about.
No, it's right and wrong. So it is.
Well, the lady said because the left as a Democrat, as a leftist, they would give her that, and I agree with that. In California, she'd probably get away with it, but I don't believe in my heart with all the circumstances and what you're saying, Crime. She changed her demeanor knowing she killed the kid. If someone was really crazy and they killed the kid and they didn't know they did it, they'd keep going on their regular life like nothing happened. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So not even acknowledging it either. It's guilty conscience, 100%.
Well, like Carolyn said, bipolar is a mood disorder, not insanity. She's not psychotic. She's not psychotic. Andrea Yates was warned with every pregnancy. Her husband was told, no more kids, no more, because it's going to get worse with every child. Now, they can't lock her up when she has a baby because nothing's happened, but it was a warning after warning after warning. She's still in a mental hospital. She's still in a mental hospital. Rusty needs to be in a mental hospital because he thought she would be there for 6 weeks, come back home, and they'd have more kids. Rusty needs to be in a mental hospital too, as far as the Yates case is concerned. Carolyn, though, she's getting real brass tacks with us. Bipolar's a mood disorder. She's not insane. She knew to tell Diana not to show up. She knew to hold off on calling the police. She knew to hold off. She knew to find a dumpster or a trash can, whatever her disposal mode was. She knew to do all those things. She knew to lie to her mother and say, well, he decided to pick Quinton up this morning, Bubba. Bubba had a change of heart and he wants to play Ward Cleaver. He picked him up. Yes, at 5:30 this morning. It was the oddest thing. It was the oddest thing. They watched the sunrise together, Mom. She knew to make that lie up. And she also knew to tell her mom, I don't remember. She also knew to tell her mom, screaming in the backyard for WSAV to record, my kid is gone, leave me alone. My kid is gone, leave me alone. That's what she said.
Well, let me tell you another thing about this bipolar. If I have experience with this diagnosis in my career and so on, and I want to say that shame on you, Billy, if you know you've got a daughter with now. Okay, let me get ahead of myself. If you knew that your daughter had bipolar disorder and she was not seeking treatment, then to me that's also negligent. You can't have an unmedicated person like that around your child.
And then have a child order, have a protection order, or you have the kids, right? You have custody. You have an order from the court. You have custody, so you know she's bipolar. You didn't say nothing in court. You know this is going on, and you're the mom, and then still drop them off knowing they're bipolar and have the custody order. Not even just bipolar. You have the custody order for a reason. So you know what I'm saying? You're using all this stuff and then throwing the bipolar on top of it. Those kids should have never left. The judge already told you not to drop them off there. You know, it's crazy to me. It's 100% crazy. You're 100% right.
Well, everybody that has bipolar disorder does not kill their child. Let's
I'm
make sure
bipolar.
we get that straight, right?
I'm bipolar, and I coach kids for 10 years. I'd rather fight for those kids than hurting those kids. I'm
But there
100%
is a,
bipolar.
but
I get
there is
mad.
a,
I
I'm
flash.
sorry. Yeah, there is a conception out there, you know, that if you have mental illness, that you're crazy and that you don't know what you're doing. I'm not saying anybody here's saying or thinking that, but, you know, the way the system is in the United States, the problem is when you have a grown ass adult like this that's unmedicated, you cannot, it's very hard to make an adult take their medication. That's always a struggle when you're treating people with mental illness is medication compliance. So go ahead.
The big issue is with that is that when people start taking it, they feel good after a couple of weeks and they stop taking it. And when you start, you know,
Right.
you think you're all healed up, and then you start drinking alcohol, using drugs, that makes that bipolar and it's turning into schizophrenia. You know what I'm saying? It's 100%.
That's what I was going to ask, Angel, because you're in this profession. We're not going to say what you do. How does it affect somebody with untreated bipolar? Because that's what the documents say she has. I cannot believe that was released, but it was.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there's any, I'm not saying there's any shame in anything, just what we're talking about. How does it affect when you're treating it with, say, cocaine? How does that help somebody with bipolar disorder with cocaine?
Well, if they're already swinging to the high side, and then you put cocaine on top of that, you're going to be like Superman. You're going to feel like Superman.
Yep.
Any of these substances that people use when they have a mental illness, when you go into treatment, first you have to get the body rid of all these substances. Okay. And then you can really look at what am I dealing with. So anything she's using, uppers, downers, whatever, that's going to exacerbate, for lack of a better way of putting it, whatever state she's in. And it sounds like maybe she has the depression and the mood swings. Maybe she probably has frequent mood swings. I mean, like I'm talking to you now, and in 30 minutes, I'm in a totally different mood. So that would only make her more unstable. Okay. Or possibly induce some type of psychosis to where you have hallucinations.
Now I'm going to.
That's totally right.
No.
I've had that same problem. Crying.
Now I'm going to assume. Oh, hang on. I'm going to assume she was diagnosed by a doctor because it was put in the CPS paperwork. She has untreated bipolar. I don't know. That's why I'm asking. That's why I have all you guys. I ask you guys. I don't like to just Google something and act like I knew it. So can someone, let's say from a toxic environment like what she has with Billy, like become bipolar, or is this just her chemical makeup already?
Well, I have two things to say about that. Number one, environmental, what you're growing up in has a lot to do with your mental health, but also bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety. A lot of these schizoaffective, a lot of these things are in your genes. It is a biogenetic disease. It is a true disease of chemical imbalance in the brain.
So she needed to be treated, and from what I'm gathering from the documents, this was well known because Billy knew it.
Right.
I'm just very, very shocked, and I don't think this is a dangerous diagnosis, by the way. I think Leilani is a dangerous person, though.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people have, and I don't like the stigma attached to it. I think that's more dangerous than having some of the illnesses, honestly, because there's such a stigma, people won't go get help for it. They think like there's something, they're going to be some kind of like cast out of society or something. It's not like that. But when she is untreated and it was told to Billy, she's too unstable to watch her children, it's kind of, it's going to be very, very, very disheartening if not some sort of punishment doesn't come Billy's way.
Well, a lot of times people can be diagnosed with bipolar, which is what we classify as an Axis 1 disorder on the diagnoses. But sometimes people can have an Axis 2, which is like a personality disorder. Those are a lot trickier to treat because you can give medication for bipolar, but for a character or a personality thing, it's behavioral, modification and training, and that itself is probably more a result of the environment. Like someone that has an antisocial personality disorder, someone that has like Amber Turd that had the histrionic personality disorder. So I don't know where that diagnosis came from, but they're certainly happy to put that out there.
They put it in the documents. I wish they would have arrested Leilani for buying drugs at the gas station as opposed to throwing her son away in its dumpster.
Right.
I really do.
Well, I don't know if you remember the thing that Pastor Rick Warren, I just saw that on the news several years ago. He had a son that had a mental illness, and him and his wife went to the ends of the earth to try to do everything they could in today's system to save their son, who was, I believe he did a lot of self-harm. And, he ended up dying. He ended up harming himself because it's very difficult to get an adult to take their medication. If they don't want to take it, they have that right. But the problem is, if you don't want to take it and you have a right not to take it, then don't be around my grandkids.
Yeah. Well, and I really wish that Billy, who is also in a new relationship, they're in a new house, she's got her personal things going on. No excuses for Billy. I'm saying that's the excuse. That's what she has going on. The name of the show, excuses, excuses, excuses. She probably, as long as Leilani was okay, then she was okay. And will you see what happened when Leilani's not? They're damaging my property. I'm going to go handwrite this out at the courthouse. This time I'm going to show her because she's going to be forced with living on the street. We know that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, they're very codependent on each other.
That's the word I was looking for. I put it in the Facebook group, and I think we talked about it in Discord too. So now we're here on the show. I'm going to ask all of you. From what I'm understanding, Leilani has been at the house. I understand that one night they had a dinner together. I believe the attorney brought food over. Now, you talk about putting the D in dysfunction. They're all living under the same roof. Could you just imagine the conversations? What are they talking about? They know what's going on and they know what's coming down the pike. How can you carry on your normal, I guess, life behind closed doors? I would be worried that one's going to hurt the other. Maybe they're waiting on that. Maybe they're waiting on Leilani to attack Billy. Then they can put her in jail for that. I don't know. How can they just live a normal, somewhat, it's not normal, existence as if nothing's going on? Leilani is in that house. I don't know that she's there right this second.
She wouldn't be in my house if she was my daughter. And I think that's crazy too. I mean, think about it. Like you said, just going about their day, whatever it is they do, having a family reunion / dinner. It's all very disgusting. Meanwhile, the guys are out digging through the trash, and that's got to be hard to do in all ways.
Yeah, there they are sitting in the house, throwing things away in their trash can, knowing that gentlemen and ladies from Quantico, Virginia, are roping off part of the waste management landfill that services not only Savannah but surrounding areas because they've pinpointed where Quinton is. There was just a press conference where they broke it down. We're going to set up a table. We're going to go through this pile of trash, then that pile of trash, then that pile of trash until we find Quinton, because we have figured out what area of the landfill he's in. Imagine throwing away your paper plate that had the pizza on it, knowing it's on the way to where Quinton is right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. How can you sit there and look at somebody thinking that they put my grandson in the landfill? They've killed him. How can you do that? That's crazy with a capital C right there.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, but just thinking about, that happened in that house, and we don't even know what she did to him yet. Because piss ain't this accident theory.
Yeah, where was all the luminol at?
We didn't need any luminol for him falling in the damn pool. They drained that pool to prove the accident theory wrong. Mark my words. They were getting way ahead of it.
I am worried though about the use of the, insanity play like you were talking about, because they did put the bipolar out there. It was on the papers. Kind of like a sympathy thing, maybe, but I don't think that's going to work. It doesn't work with me.
Well, I mean, I think Lori Vallow is crazier than a shithouse rat. I do. But it didn't work with her. The guy who killed little Cash Gernon, he's mentally ill. I can't remember what is wrong with him. Schizophrenic, something like that. I hate to even talk about all this stuff because I'm not a doctor. And I don't think that people that have mental illness are going to go on a killing spree. Okay. Some, yes, they do. Okay. So I don't even really want to touch that. So they're holding him till they get him mentally fit enough to understand that he's going to jail for the rest of his life. Just like they did old Lori Vallow. They even dyed her roots for her and got her lipstick and all kinds of shit. They got her competent enough to understand what's going on so she can participate in her own defense. Hopefully Georgia does the same thing.
Yes. I hope so.
Yo, main girl, you have your camera on and I keep putting you up and then you bounce back down. I see you. You can turn your camera off. All right, let's try this again. Hey, yo, main girl, what are you thinking?
Hi.
Hey.
Hey. Hold on one moment, okay? Give me just a sec. 1 moment. Hey, sorry about that.
So
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, what did you think about the press conference?
I don't know what to think. I'm just kind of floored by all of it, really.
It's just hard to think about a little 20-month-old baby out in the landfill, and they bring in agents from Quantico, Virginia, to try to find him in the trash dump.
Yeah, and is that a confirmation that he's there, or is that more of just what they have to go by this time?
They said they're going to find him there. Did you hear the press conference?
I heard some of it. I'm at work, so I'm kind of trying to bounce in between everything and catch up.
They believe he's there.
Yeah.
They said the evidence led him there. I don't know. The whole thing is just disgusting. No, Natasha, he hasn't been found yet. They have a plan put in place to find him out in the landfill.
That's so horrible. And I feel really bad for the people that found him.
Yeah, that chief looks like he's about to lose it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could tell they were heavily burdened by the tone of their voice. They seemed very heavily burdened, and they seemed determined that they will find that child's body.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely sick. I mean, it is. I don't know. And we don't even know what she did to him yet. We know he's somewhere in the landfill, and they said that it's going to be a slow process, but they're going to find him out there. They must have said something to Billy because she let several people know he's in the landfill. Then she said, I'm not going to believe it until I see him.
Yeah.
Now they're setting up a memorial on the lawn. I'm a little worried about Billy myself because she has put some messages out to people saying it's so nice that they're leaving all these toys for Quinton for when he comes home. No. So is she that detached, or is she fooling us here? They believe he's in the landfill. They brought in people who are trained in finding things in landfills. I didn't realize there was such a profession.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know. Part of it could be, I just don't trust her. I mean, normally I would say she's in such shock and denial, and perhaps she is, but I feel like deep down inside she knows what happened.
I wouldn't be surprised if Leilani hasn't told her.
Right. And how do you converse about that and then go on about your day?
Mm-hmm. And we keep forgetting about this. Christina said, think back. Why wouldn't Danny let Diana, the babysitter, in the house? I have a hard time believing Danny is this innocent. They haven't cleared Danny. They haven't cleared anyone, including Diana. I'm not saying Diana's involved, including anyone that's around that house. Anyone involved, they have not come out and publicly cleared. But Danny, especially, Danny was there. Danny would not let Diana come in the house to search. Danny also said he saw him in the pack and play. We heard later, because he's playing pool with his buddies in Atlanta, that he didn't send the text, which leads us to believe that Leilani sent the text from Danny's phone, but we're going to find out. Just because they say it on Facebook doesn't make it true.
Exactly. Yeah, he hightailed it out of there.
DC said, I agree. I don't understand why we aren't hearing more about Danny. Well, I'm just gonna say, because the police have said she's their prime suspect. They haven't mentioned any other suspects. How can you rule Danny out so fast? Not saying that they have, because they haven't said anything of the sort. How can you not say anything about Danny? Him leaving town doesn't concern me at all, because they can go find his ass. He's not too hard to find.
Right.
He's probably one of the dads that called into the Zoom meeting yesterday. Just because
Mhm.
he said, hey, I didn't send that text. Yeah, I saw him on the pack and play, but then I left. That doesn't mean he doesn't know anything that's going on. It does look good for him that he got the hell out of there, that he's not sitting around waiting for the shoe to drop.
Right. Mm. You know, there was one time that Diana was on Facebook, and I don't know, I can't remember exactly what it was, but sometime during that morning, apparently they shared the same vehicle, Danny and Leilani or whatever. So she saw that truck coming back real slowly, creeping down the road. Remember that?
The
Back to,
neighbor?
I think it was their vehicle, back to the house, where she saw one of them coming back. But they were driving really slow, and she couldn't see who was driving. It might have been Danny coming back. I don't know, or it could have been her coming back from the dump.
Yeah, because here's the neighbor's statement. I live in Girard, the cross street. She did leave after calling the babysitter, didn't come back until 9. So she lives at the cross street. So I'm assuming across the street. So she would know what time she'd have to be able to see the driveway and the white truck coming back.
Yeah.
She did leave after calling the babysitter, didn't come back until 9 when she finally called 911. That's why they towed the car. But what car is she talking about? Because we saw Leilani in a white pickup truck. It's like the one that Jaden described on the show when he came on, We saw Billy in kind of a champagne-colored, khaki-colored truck yesterday. So what car? That's why they towed the car. We have to pass by there whenever we leave, and there are only a few people on site. And since there is no one searching, I'm assuming they think they need to be searching somewhere else. Okay, well, that's just her opinion of the search. But I'm confused what she means about the car. Then she says something about a cross street, but then I thought she meant across the street. Then she says she has to pass by there. So either you live right across the street and you saw her coming back after 9 or not. Unless she's saying that she passed by and passed Leilani coming home. I don't know.
Well, you know, when they were in that big argument, Billy just turned around and walked back down the street. So I was under the impression that the babysitter can see, you know, who comes down that way, and also possibly can see the house in the distance, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think she said that, but I could be wrong. That she could see the house and things that go on, because remember she talked about her being outside smoking a cigarette for a long time.
I assumed she lived the street behind them, like with backyards touching each other. I don't know. I must have seen that layout somewhere, but I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, hang on. Okay, DC. Yep, DC heard the same thing as you, Angel. Diana said she can see their house as she showed in the argument transpiring between Billy and Leilani. Yeah, because Billy was hightailing it down the street saying this is going to be on the news. And taunting them to put it on social media. 2 houses down, opposite side of the street. Okay. Yeah. So Diana can see the house from there.
From her front porch.
So I'm wondering again how there's only one suspect if Danny was there and they towed Danny's car. I don't know. I can't.
Well, I think they both use the same vehicle, don't they?
Well, she drives a white truck. You know, Jaden was talking about a white truck. He said, I think she still has that white truck. And we saw her and someone else jump in the truck one day.
That's right. Yeah.
So when she says that's why they towed that car, then I can't remember who it was in chat. I'm sorry that said, because Danny has a car.
Yeah.
Well, now that we re-listened to the press conference, there's a lot more in there than when I first heard it. It's pretty damn gruesome, if you ask me.
It is, and it just makes my stomach sick. I mean, it's disgusting. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine living like this, being like this, and I'm not trying to be ugly, coping like this. It's just all so dysfunctional and scary.
Well, the last thing that Billy can do for her grandson is keep an eye on Leilani. If she needs to go get something, she takes her, she walks in the store with her, and she makes sure she gets out. She doesn't go to the bathroom by herself. She needs to she needs to sleep with one eye open to make sure that girl doesn't get away, which I think if there was any hint of her trying to leave or anything, I think they'd sweep her up. I really do.
Wonder why they feel so confident that she's not a flight risk. What do you think about that?
I don't know, and I'd love to know. Because you can't say something like that, even though they did in Brian Laundrie's case. Oh, don't worry. We know where he's at. Oh, the hell you did. The hell you did. And then in this case, they're saying the same thing. I don't think they want that embarrassment on them. I don't think they want it to happen. But if they seem very confident she's not going anywhere. I don't know why.
Yeah. There's something that we don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff we don't know. But
eyes on her. They must be watching the house somehow.
Well, surely to the heavens they are.
Yeah, I really kind of hope that these law enforcement these departments take a page out of the books where things have gone really wrong. Well, like Casey Anthony, you heard him say, I don't want to be here in 6 months and tell you why, we failed or this fell through. They certainly don't want to get all the way to the end if there's a trial. A lot of times there's not. There's some prosecutors who have never been in front of a jury. Everything's done in an office. You take this deal, okay, we're done. They don't even meet the victims.
Mm-hmm.
There was some prosecutor they were talking about. Oh, I heard about it several months ago, and retiring, and they mentioned that he had never tried a case. Everything had been done basically in the office.
Yeah.
So if it got there, you don't want anything messed up. And in the day and age we're in, everything is out. They hold a lot of stuff back, but it can be found out relatively easily.
Yeah.
Teresa said probably tailing her. I really think they must have eyes on that house. She has a new phone they have tapped. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm getting very Mission Impossible. The house is wired. ADT's watching them.
Well, I hope they all are.
Me too. Oh, well, I ran the show over 2 hours. Didn't mean to do that. But I'm glad that we got to hear the press conference and then listen to it again. Because at first I was like, that's it? You're telling us you haven't been searching? That's what you came to tell us? Well, this is a big, zero. So then we listened to it again and I'm like, oh, I got it now. I'm going to listen to it again. Don't worry. Because I think there's a little bit more going on. I think they gave us the PG version because this is awful.
Well, thanks, Brooks. I'm going to hop down and get down in the chat, and I appreciate it. Appreciate being able to go through the press conference with you and with everybody in our community.
Well, and I appreciate you explaining because, like I said, this is your field of expertise, shall I say. So instead of us just guessing, or me per se, you could explain, well, what's going on as far as her excuses. From a clinical standpoint. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'll talk to you after the show, my friend.
Okay. Thanks, ma'am.
And I'll talk to you guys after the show if you're in Discord or in any of the Facebook groups. We have several Facebook groups going on right now. I tried to get away from the Facebook groups altogether and now back in it, which that's fine. I think we're going to keep it that way. So there's a Facebook group for pretty much, well, there's the main Facebook group that's just basically any case you want to talk about or anything in general, if you really want to know the truth. Then we have one for the murders in Okmulgee. Jeannie put a group together for Quinton. And we have one for Debbie Collier. So if you want to join any of the Facebook groups, you are more than welcome. If you want to join Discord, send me an email. Just let me know who you are. I don't need your address. Just a good reminder of who you are. And I'll send you a link. You come into Discord. You can pretty much talk about anything in there you want. It's not as guarded, if you know what I mean, as Facebook. Facebook really can work our nerves. Anyhow, thank you for being here. It was kind of a last-minute thing about the press conference. I'm glad that we did get to catch it. It gets very frustrating when their audio doesn't work or I can't find where it's streaming from. But it worked out today. So anyhow, I will see you guys back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. And in the meantime, have a great rest of your day. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for being the best community on YouTube. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.